Welcome back to the Fixed Ops Roundtable. We're with David Reinicke today. He's the president of Automotive Warranty Network, one of the great friends of the Fixed Ops Roundtable, certified partner for the Roundtable. David, welcome to the event.
Thanks, Ted. It's a pleasure to be back. Appreciate you always having me.
Appreciate all you do for the industry, David.
And you as well.
I know at the last several pop-up events, you were with us there in person, both at Bozard and up at Nilo. And we got a chance to see some dealerships and dealership groups with great culture who have worked many, many years to instill that. And David, you could almost feel that in place when you walked into those stores. I don't know if you felt the same way.
No, absolutely. You can feel the culture. You can feel the employees feeling like they're family, that they have good, a good culture in place. So.
Yeah, and those folks had career paths. They had career paths in writing, and there was all the little things the dealership did, in terms of education and training and investing in their people. So today, I want to talk about that with you because we see that in some of the partners for Fixed Ops, for the Fixed Ops Roundtable, and Automotive Warranty Network is certainly one of them, one at the lead. And you've built an amazing culture there. And I don't know if you'd like to tell our audience a little bit about it, but I know you don't talk about it a whole lot, but I saw a couple little things in your latest video commercial about it, I see.
Yeah, I appreciate that, and I appreciate the recognition on that. And just like the dealerships that we visited that have great cultures, it's really about caring about your people and putting your people first. Again, at Nello and Bozard, their employees aren't numbers, right? They're real people that they care about. So, and it's no different with our company. Nobody here is a number. Everybody's a real person with real families that we care about, and that we want to get to know. And then on the professional side, helping people advance and further their career and sharpen their sword and better their knowledge. So. And on that front, there's no knowledge hoarding. So we developed a culture of really sharing knowledge, helping each other out, lifting each other up again. I think that really helps everybody feel again that they matter and they're contributing to the goals that we're trying to accomplish. So.
I know we'll talk about that knowledge sharing because you have an upcoming initiative with Northwood University. Congratulations to you this year. You'll be up there at the 62nd Annual International Auto Show with the CAM Summit, and Automotive Warranty Network will be highlighted. It's probably the beginning of a lot you're going to do.
We hope to do a lot with them. I see great opportunity for a crossover between we do in the industry and what Northwood's offering as well. So I'm excited to explore that. We're excited to be a part of the show, to be, a sponsor of the show. And I think it's going to be great. We're excited.
Well, we'll come back to that in just a few minutes. I want to talk to you again, come back to the people element, because even at Northwood, they realize it's all about that passionate pipeline of people coming into the industry. You've built that. I know you hired some of the best people, many of them from out of retail, to do this for your firm. And I think that's a big differentiator, especially with all the challenges dealers have, that you have an actual human being, an actual person who's, let's say, walked in their shoes.
Yeah, I mean, that's really important is, having a human being, like you said. I mean, the biggest thing we get compliments from our clients on is the fact that they build relationships with the people that we have working for us, that are part of our work family here. So, it really ingrains the same thing into the dealership interaction. It's not just employee to employee for AWN or me to our admins or our IT department or whatever the case may be, but that extends all the way to the client. So, the client feels that same connection to our employees, to our administrators, to me, to, Jamie, to, we really work on building that full sense of community, not just with each other, but with our clients as well. So.
And David, you didn't just start this last month or last year. Tell us about that, because this started when you were a little boy, and it's been in the family for a long time.
Yeah, it's been in the family for most of my life. I've been a part of AWN for about 25 years now. So, for my experience, we've always just, through our whole history of the company, focused on being ethical in our practices, again, with our clients, but also with our employees. So, it's just something that's ingrained in us and that we follow every day. Every day we practice, the ethics of running a business, the ethics of, dealing with the manufacturers, the ethics of dealing with our clients. So
Do your people have a lot of contact with the dealerships where, let's say, someone at the dealership level, leading a manager or even higher, has questions, let's say today about warranty, and wants to speak to somebody at your firm, and they've got that
oh,
kind of relationship where they can do that?
yeah, 100%. So the relationship again that's built between our administrators and the dealerships is one of that. I mean, they in most cases they talk every day. So they'll call, they ask questions, they'll call and talk about each other's families. It's yes, any of our clients can pick up the phone, call us at any time, even if it's just a talk, or questions. Um, so yeah, it's really building that sense of community and partnership, and in a lot of cases, our dealers even send our administrators Christmas gifts and postcards and that kind of thing. So it's a full bonded relationship.
Just for the audience's edification, whenever I have a question that pertains to warranty, it's not unusual that I'm sending a message, a text over to David and saying, David, can I speak to you? I got a couple questions. And not unusual for David to do the same thing back to me. So I think we've got that kind of relationship. And that means a lot to people in the industry.
Well, and it's not just, and I appreciate that, Ted, and I appreciate you always being available for me too. But that's what the relationships are about, right? I mean, I even have dealerships that are not our clients that'll call me and ask me questions, and that's totally fine. Just because you're not one of my clients doesn't mean I don't want to help you out and answer some warranty questions and help a dealership be better, right? So
All right. Well, let's talk about what's happening now in the industry. Um, it seems that around the industry, we're hearing more and more, a little bit here, a little bit there, about audits creeping back. Okay, and they're back on the radar. I've had a number of dealers talk to us about audits, and they didn't have some of these in the last few years. But what are you seeing out there? Are the manufacturers taking a little bit closer look now than they were in the past?
they are, and I know I sound like a broken record because I know in a lot of our interactions that we've done here that I'm always talking about audits, and David's always talking about audits, but it is very, very important. Again, having over 1,500 clients, we're starting to see a big uptick in manufacturers' warranty audits. So right now we have probably, I don't know, I would say anywhere between 5 and 10 dealerships a week that are getting audits, and the manufacturers are really looking to audit more frequently. And in my opinion, that's due to rising warranty costs. So you have your labor rate increases, you have your just the sheer price of parts, with all the technology and stuff. So these warranty claims are high dollars, and I think the OEMs are looking to come in and inspect what dealerships are doing. I don't personally think that manufacturers are looking to take dealerships to the cleaners, but they do want to come in and inspect the processes and make sure that dealerships are doing what they should be. And that's really what we're in the business of. And not trying to sell anything here, but we're trying to help dealerships fairly collect what they should collect, on a daily basis. Really no more, no less. We're not trying to upsell warranty or increase what a dealership collects, because ultimately at the end of the day, when the manufacturer does come in and audit, they're going to take that money back if we've over collected or if the dealership is over collected. So we want to make sure that the dealership is fairly collecting what they should collect. And that leads to a few things. I mean, one, favorable audit results. So a lot of our clients that are going through these audits right now, the chargebacks are 1-2%. Some have even been below 1%. So and what that creates, again, in my opinion, is a better relationship with the manufacturer when they come in and inspect your processes. And it's not a huge chargeback. It's not a two, three, $400,000 chargeback. Which, by the way, we're seeing some of those types of numbers. Again, that's why I want to talk about this so much, because when they do come in, these numbers are very, very large. So, in a lot of manufacturers are auditing periodically. It's not a matter of your metrics are triggering an audit. It's a matter of, we're going to come in and see you every 12 months or every 18 months or every 2 years or whatever the case may be. Certainly, there are triggers as well with the metrics, but I just want to get it out there that manufacturers are coming around to audit, and dealerships should inspect their processes and what's going on today. And
Nobody likes that word audit, David.
no, but it doesn't need to be a scary thing. In one of our recent videos that came out on LinkedIn and on the internet there, we had one of our employees speaking to the fact that audits shouldn't be scary. For her, audits are not scary. They're a learning tool, and that's really what audits should be. So, I think, the more dealerships look at it as a if they're following the proper processes and look at it as a learning tool, I think that's they shouldn't be a scary experience.
A lot of our dealers are familiar with F&I mock audits, if you will, where they have a company that comes in and pulls X amount of deals, folders that were financed, and the company goes through them and looks for what would happen if that dealer were audited. And that's a service that I know a lot of dealers partake in with a number of different partners, and it's very good. It puts a lot of visibility, a lot of transparency on what they're doing, what they could do better. David, you have such an audit, a mock audit, if you will,
Yep.
on the fixed ops warranty side. Talk about that.
Yeah, we do the exact same thing on the warranty side. So we actually have custom software that we developed in-house, to where we host an audit the way the manufacturer would. So essentially, we'll go through and pull a claims list. Typically, we get that claims list through the manufacturer's trend report. So we don't want to look at like recalls and maintenance claims. We want to look at real claims, and then we'll have the dealership. We can either do this on site or remotely, but we get those repair orders and all the supporting documentation that pertains to those repair orders. And we actually do an audit the way the manufacturer would. So we can look at all the paperwork, we look at punch times, we look at technician comments, we look to make sure all the test codes, results, measurements are there. And then we look at one-time use parts too. So then we output an audit the way the manufacturer would, so that we can sit down with you today, or a dealership today, and say, okay, if this was a real audit, here's the financial impact. And of course, this is more favorable because we're dealing with fake money. We're not dealing with real money. But then we can break it down by issue type. So 50% was 3Cs or clock time issues, whatever the case may be. And then we can even break it down further by that specific employee. So we can weight like a clock time issue or a 3C issue to a technician. So we can say, this particular technician is responsible for a majority of these chargebacks, or these fake chargebacks, right?
Yeah.
And then we can develop an action plan, and that's part of the audit, is developing an action plan to what a dealership or we can help with to act on to improve these processes. So and in some cases, we can actually go into the dealership. We can spend a couple of days there. We can help them. We can work directly with their technicians, their advisors, to develop better processes, so that when the audit does come, because it will come, they feel better about it, and they're confident about what the results are going to be, because all these processes are in place. In my experience too, the manufacturers, when they do come in and audit and they see that there's good processes in place, I think manufacturers are more willing to work with the dealership when they're trying to do the right thing. We've had some dealerships that we've run across over the years that, they try to push the envelope,
Yes.
day to day. They try to get the most that they can out of warranty, and they're willing to walk that line and, take their chances. And some of them think that they're going to come out ahead in the audit, even though, they get a chargeback, they're going to come out ahead ultimately. But chargebacks still never feel good though, right? So
Interesting you mentioned this. We had a At this event, David, we had a compliance panel. Had nothing to do with warranty or warranty submissions, but it was on general compliance. We had a number of people within the industry, and one of them was a former assistant attorney general in one of the big states that is always in the news. Okay, and they talked about that if a dealer, in terms of compliance, if a dealer is making efforts, okay, and showing that they are addressing some of these issues, okay, and actively working on them rather than just pushing it off to the side, they look at that a whole lot differently. And that was pretty much the consensus on that group. I don't know if you see that as well, but
In my experience, that is 100% true. I mean, I've been in several audits. I've been at the dealership for audits, and it does make a huge difference if you're trying to do the right thing and trying to implement processes or have good processes in place versus just kind of cowboying it and not caring about those processes, right? So
all right. So we need to be aware of audits, audits that are looming. And again, you probably know. You mentioned some of the things along that would trigger an audit, but you know some of the common things, okay, that OEMs are looking for. So it's great to have a partner that I could speak to, okay, that knows this inside and out, David, as you and your team do.
well, I appreciate that, and I'm here for you, Ted, anytime you need any support on that or any other stores. I mean, we're dealing with it on a daily basis. Right before we came onto this call, I was dealing with audits that our clients are going through. So again, I just want to raise awareness for this because it's a real thing, and it doesn't feel good when you get a big chargeback. So
All right, finally, we're still a few months away, but you're coming up to Northwood University in Midland, Michigan in September. Automotive Warranty Network is the main sponsor, okay, for the International Auto Show, the 62nd annual one. And there's going to be a huge CAMS summit at Northwood. And one thing in common with every dealer who's going to be up there, they all deal with warranty. And I know it's your turn to be on the big stage and talk about a lot of things that dealers face, when it comes across to warranty. And it's interesting, David. Last year there were a number of panels on other topics, not fixed ops, F&I, aftermarket, all these other things, human resources. Yet every panel somehow came back to fixed ops. And I don't think it was because Sarah and I were moderating it. I think the panelists wanted to talk about fixed ops. So you're going to be in the sweet spot up at Northwood this fall.
well, we're very, very excited about it. So we're going to bring a crew up there from Automotive Warranty Network. We're excited to be a part of the event. Of course, we're very excited to sponsor the event, and we'll look forward to participating in the breakout sessions and the CAMS event, and just really working with the students up there, and getting a chance to meet some new dealers and new friends and build relationships. So very much looking forward to it.
David, it's a great alliance to have. So congratulations to you and the AWN team for doing that. I think it's a big move forward for our industry. So, all right, if our audience wants to reach out to you, David, or your team, or has some warranty questions in the meantime, as you mentioned, even if they're not a client, can they do that?
Yeah. 100%. And I know I've said it over and over again on some of these panels, but we're not salesy. So if you want to reach out and ask a warranty question, I'm not going to, try to convert you into a client. Of course, that's always favorable. But if you just have questions, that's totally good. And you can always reach out to me directly. It's just my email address is dreinicke@awninc.com, or more simply, just david@awninc.com. Goes to the same place. So,
and you'll see David on social media, particularly on LinkedIn. So, David, thanks for all you do in AWN for the industry. And thank you for your time today talking about the culture, the unique culture at your company, and things we need to be keeping an eye on in our industry.
Of course, it's always a pleasure. Thanks for having me.
Everybody, David Reinicke, the leader in the industry. He's the president of Automotive Warranty Network. Reach out with your questions on how he can help your dealership or your dealership group. David Reinicke at Automotive Warranty Network here with us today at the Fixed Ops Roundtable.